perspective. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection. Whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection. And whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. Break it down with the proper perspective.
How y'all doing out there tonight? How y'all doing out there tonight? It is February 1. Y'all know what that means. Happy Black History Month. Happy Black History Month, everybody. This is Shabazz with the proper perspective. How y'all doing out there tonight? I hope y'all are tuning in. I'm coming to you live. Not gonna stay on here long, I don't think. But I wanted to touch base, especially because today is February 1. And I just really wanted to give a shout out to CarterGWoodson. I wanted to give a shout out to CarterGWoodson because he got this thing started. And especially because I wanted to be able to say, we weren't waiting for orangutan to tell us to do nothing like this. We ain't never waited for them like that. Not like that. We set up our own holidays. We got Malcolm X Day. We weren't waiting for them to honor Malcolm X. You know, if they've done something with the laws, we might have to wait for them to do something in that regard. But we don't need them to tell us when to celebrate our heroes. So I wanted to give a shout out to CarterGWoodson, the ancestor who got this thing started. So that's why I'm coming to you live tonight. I may pause myself a little bit. I may give myself a few minutes before I really get started. I'm trying to see if I'm going to get any people joining me. So what I need to do, if you would please bear with me as I wait to see if we're going to get any people coming through. I'm going to see if I can drop the link anywhere that might capture some folk. Anywhere that might capture some folk and let everybody know. I don't know if the notifications are going out. Being a new channel, I may not necessarily know if the notifications are going out. That's always a thing when you're getting started. But also, you can easily get shadow banned when you start talking about all that black stuff. So I'm gonna see it. Like I said, I'm gonna wait a couple of minutes and see what's going on with the chat and see where I can share the link to see. Just make sure people know what's going on the night that we give a shout out to the ancestor CarterGWoodson. So if you're tuning in and if you are coming into the chat, please hit the 1 button. As I said, I will be discussing CarterGWoodson, but I'm going to sprinkle the conversation with some interesting jewels as it pertains to some of the things going on in the world today. So let me see if I can drop this link one more time. I should hit the live button on my other platforms just to see if that's going to do anything. Let's see if I can hit this live button again. So as you bear with me, let me see. I don't like that. So anyhow, what we're going to do, let me hit this live button Three, two, one. Welcome to the live. Thank you again for tuning in. I'm coming to you live on more than one platform. So I'm over here on Instagram coming to you live. If you're joining in on Instagram, please, I'd rather you come to youtube.com/ at the proper perspective. YouTube.com/ at the proper perspective. If you're on Facebook, do the same thing and come on over to the YouTube page. But we're gonna get it started tonight. Like I said, what I wanted to do is I wanted to give a shout out to CarterGWoodson, especially since we got orangutan running around here trying to make it seem like he trying to do something for us. You know, if he really had black people's interests in heart, then he would put up that platinum plan that he had a couple of fools talking about. Where is that platinum plan? And where them fools that said we should be paying attention to him because he had a platinum plan? That's what I want to know. They going on to other silly topics to keep you distracted. But so again, we talking about CarterGWoodson, and what I wanted to do was just as I start out, I feel like it's necessary to recite a proverb. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna recite a proverb. So I found this proverb. It's not necessarily a earth-shattering, mind-blowing new one. You probably have heard it before. A tree without roots will fail. But that's the African proverb I'm gonna start off with on this first day of Black History Month. And so what I want to do I want to link this proverb, this African proverb, I want to link it to CarterGWoodson. The importance of authentic Black history. Now, I do say authentic Black history. What I mean by Black history is, or what I mean by authentic is, I'm not with all of the pseudo. I'm not coming to you like I'm not gonna name the names, at least not right now. But I'm not gonna give you all of these. I'm not the weed head woke folk type that like to talk about mountains as tree stumps. I'm not with any of that. I'm not a pretendian. I'm not here to tell you that we not connected to the continent. No, that's not authentic Black history. So I will start, and I'm gonna get ahead and get it cracking right now. With my introduction, the African proverb, "A tree without roots will fail," serves as a powerful metaphor for the importance of historical awareness. Without a clear understanding of history, individuals and communities become vulnerable to misinformation, cultural erasure, and a lack of direction. That's why it's so important for me to key up and put an emphasis on what? Authentic Black history. CarterGWoodson, the father of Black History Month, not DJT, not number 47, not orangutan. CarterGWoodson is the father of Black History Month. He dedicated his life to ensuring that Black people had access to their own historical narratives rather than accepting distortions or erasures imposed by dominant cultures. Yeah, we know we living in the information age, the digital age. And the problem with that is there's so much information. If you don't know how to filter it through, you're really living in the misinformation age. You're really living in the disinformation age. The perfect psyop for COINTELPRO, CIA, government operations to keep the wool over your eyes. So that's going to be the challenge, because we are not only living in a world where the game is to suppress Black history, but we also living in a world where, because of the digital revolution, pseudo-scientific mythology has reared its ugly head with one sole purpose, and that's to disconnect Black people from their real heritage, from their authentic heritage. So again, I'm gonna key up on My man, the brother from another mother, the elder statesman himself, the ancestor, the historian. Let me share my screen. Because I wanted to bring forth just this. I wanted to. Did you know Carter G. Woodson was born in New Canton, Virginia? Now, I may not personally be that familiar with New Canton, but I'm hailing from Virginia. So this elder, this ancestor is a Virginia born ancestor. So another reason I want to give him a shout out. He earned a PhD in history from Harvard University, becoming the second African American to do so. Now, I'm not necessarily the kind of person that wants to throw a lot of accolades on top of this the idea of going to a PWI. It's not really my thing. But if you think about the time period when he was alive, you know, at that time, more so than now, like people like to get all bobbleheaded about, you know, going to Harvard today. And okay, I get it. If you just the generic, if you're just gonna be the generic American and all you really know is whatever they put out there to you, then Harvard, oh my. But you know, outside of that, you know, I'm dealing in a lane. I'm coming from a cipher where we don't look at PWIs like that. We don't look at the white establishment that way. So I'm not gonna say I'm not impressed by Carter G. Woodson because he went to Harvard. I'm impressed by Carter G. Woodson because he came back to the Black community and put that knowledge to work. He didn't go out there and act and operate as a sellout who no longer wanted to be involved with the community. So yes, he did go to Harvard, but he didn't hoard that like it was the crown jewel of knowledge and activity and pursuits. So in 1928, he founded Negro History Week, which later became Black History Month. His work, including the book, The Miseducation of the Negro, played a key role in raising awareness of African American history and its significance to American culture. So, and this is just a piece, you know, I wanted to share that, but this is a piece that's provided to you by the Black History Museum of Virginia. So that's right on down the street in hometown. So you can go on down there and you can check out, you know, some of the information and the displays and exhibits that they have in general about Black history, but in particular about Carter G. Woodson. I also think it's very interesting and important to take a moment to give a shout out to this great man, this scholar, this thinker, because what he set in place in the 20s, yeah, 1928, is still something that's alive and well today. We going on 99 years that this man's work, this man's importance and significance, and what he did and what he presented and what he gave. Not only it's still relevant, it's still in effect. You know, a lot of times things that people do when they die, whatever that mission is that they had, that mission goes away too. That mission goes to the wayside. So in an era where we need to be painfully aware of preserving our roots, preserving our history, preserving our culture, preserving our institutions. We need to be preserving our institutions. And so for that, in addition to anything else, we need to be giving a shout out to Carter G. Woodson. So now again, I would like to say if you are tuning in on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or what have you, it would be more appreciated if you came on over to youtube.com/@theproperperspective. So that way I could get the chat room pumping a little bit. But like I said, watch where you want to watch. So let me see. So again, I wanted to give a shout out to CarterGWoodson. I wanted to drop a little knowledge about him because sometimes people don't necessarily know. We know we got this Black History Month, but I've been in positions, I've been in classrooms when I've asked students, tell me something about CarterGWoodson, and they've been like, who that? What did they do? So I don't want to take it for granted that everybody knows who he is. I certainly don't want to take it for granted that we all know everything that he's done, because we do. We tend to put more emphasis on what are we going to study than how we even got to the point where we are going to study it. Now, I know you got some people that'll be like, you got some people that's against Black History Month. Pete Hegseth, or whatever his name is. Now that he got through the so-called challenges of being selected to run that government agency that he has no experience for. If that ain't a DEI hire, I don't know what is. And one of his first announcements once he got there was, we getting rid of all celebrations. So he ain't just against Black History Month. He against Native American History Month. He against Women's History Month. He against Disabled People's History Month. He against everybody. If you ain't a white male, he don't want to hear nothing about it. Oh, DEI hire himself. But I digress. What I wanted to say is, well, let me continue with my presentation, because I want to, like I said, I want to try to stay focused on giving a shout out to CarterGWoodson, but I got to talk about some of this crazy mess that's going on in the world today. So the power of historical roots. Just as a tree draws strength and nourishment from its roots, people draw strength, identity, and empowerment from their history and their roots. Woodson understood that an authentic historical foundation was necessary for social and political progress. He established Negro History Week, which we now celebrate as Black History Month. He did this in, I think I said 1928, to highlight the contributions of Black people in world history. His work in education emphasized real historical scholarship, combating both Eurocentric distortions and internal misinformation. He was not about the mess. He was a real scholar. He was a scholar. He was not about the pseudo-scientific mythology. He was not about disconnecting himself from whence he came. Nowadays, we got to deal with the danger of miseducation. To some extent, it's even more of a problem now than it was back then. Because now you got these clowns that, probably because they're getting paid by somebody in the COINTELPRO program, to disseminate misinformation in a much greater and more sophisticated manner than ever before. But CarterGWoodson wrote The Miseducation of the Negro. And in that text, in that book, he warned that a misinformed people could easily be controlled. And what do you see nowadays? We are being controlled rather easily. Today, misinformation takes on new forms, including the rise of this pseudo-historical claims like, we the real Indians. We was always over here. Our natural original language is English. Make it make sense, please. All of these claims serve to deny Black people their African heritage. It's all misinformation. It's all misinformation. So it's only right that we take a moment to say, wait a minute, CarterGWoodson warned us about this. He told us the miseducation of the Negro was a problem. So we owe it to ourselves not only to recognize Carter G. Woodson, we owe it to ourselves to read that book. We owe it to ourselves to make sure we don't fall for the okie doke, whether it's coming from a black skin or a white skin person. Because as you know, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. We need authentic historical narratives promoting an accurate understanding of Black history. Now, the other thing, or one of the other things I wanted to give Carter G. Woodson a shout out about is not only did he write a book that is still relevant today, not only did he write a book that's still being published today, he created organizations. He wrote more than one book, but he created organizations. And those organizations are still here, still alive and kicking, still working and doing the work that he set up. So one of those organizations, I'm going to share my screen at least just to show it to you. See me get on over here the right way and share my screen. So as I find the right button, there you go. There we go. So the founders of Black History Month, Carter G. Woodson. Anybody know what ASALH stands for? Let me see if I can. Okay, it's not quite right on the screen. There we go. About. Let me pull this on up. Established on September 9th, 1915 by Dr. Carter G. Woodson, we are the founders of Black History Month and carry forth the work of our founder, the father of Black history. We continue his legacy of speaking a fundamental truth to the world that Africans and peoples of African descent are makers of history and co-workers in what W.B. Du Bois called the kingdom of culture. Now, if you out here in these YouTube streets, if you out here in these Instagram streets and these social media streets, and you consider yourself woke, and you be like, wait a minute, we don't mess with W.B. Du Bois. Look, I feel you. I feel you. Du Bois got some problems, got some issues. But we got to stop throwing the baby out with the bathwater. If we look at leadership today, if we look at the leaders in our midst today, on any given day, we can see that leaders of various organizations disagree with each other, argue with each other, fight with each other, take pot shots at each other. They be beefing hard. They be beefing like the rappers sometimes. Now, we can have some opinions about whether or not that's appropriate. We can have some opinions about whether or not that's good. But we don't throw them away. You throw away a leader if you feel like they're a complete sellout and everything that they doing, like Snoop, is totally against progress. Okay, maybe you would throw them away. But whether we're talking about Carter G. Woodson or W.B. Du Bois, there's plenty of things. There's some things that Du Bois did that was a problem, but there's some things that Du Bois did that were not a problem. He's another one who started an institution, started a publication. Yeah, I know that it's got problems because he had white people helping him, working him, directing him and guiding him, and some will say puppet handling and controlling him. But at the end of the day, he's still at the helm of that organization and is still alive and kicking today. So regardless, I am not the kind of person that believes you throw the baby out with the bathwater. I believe you take the good, you leave the bad. There's no such thing as a perfect organization. There's no such thing as a perfect human. Everybody is doing something that goes towards the cause. So I'm not going to deal too much more with that. But again, what I wanted to just show you is that Carter G. Woodson started Black History Month. He also started an organization that's designed to always continually work on the examination and the study of Black people's lives and celebrating. And that's what this organization is about. Let's see. So you got the ASALH organization from Carter G. Woodson. And you might be surprised to know. Let me see. He also, so some of the other books that he wrote, The Education of the Negro Prior to 1861, A Century of Negro Migration, The History of the Negro Church, The Negro in Our History, African Myths Together with Proverbs, and The African Background Outline. This one in particular highlights the historical and cultural achievements of African civilizations before European civilization, before European colonization, I should say. And yeah, that one kind of holds a little bit of a closeness to my heart because I am sick and tired of people thinking that Africa didn't have, that the Black man on this planet did not have civilization until white people showed up. And so this, as far back, this goes back to 1936. Carter G. Woodson was trying to tell the Black community, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Nah, we've been doing this. You know, we've been on this planet long enough. We got the longest running record. Don't let a short trip and stumble make you think we ain't something pretty strong and powerful. We just we having a bad inning. But it's 9 innings to a baseball game. Shout out to X Clan. So these books matter because Woodson's work focuses on empowering Black people through historical awareness, combating myths of inferiority, and emphasizing Africa's role in world history. His scholarship laid the foundation for Black studies programs and remains highly relevant today. Let's see. So again, let me see. I don't even know. Can I find the chat room? Is anybody in the chat room? It don't necessarily look like it, so it don't have to be. Like I said, I wasn't gonna stay long. I'm trying to get myself in this situation where I'm supposed to be coming live every day this month. I'm not gonna promise you that that's gonna happen. There's a whole lot of stuff that just can't get rolling. Like, I'm not a winter person. I did another live stream about this. Winter really takes a lot out of me. And I really, some of these days I'll be struggling. So, you know, if it gets too cold, I'm out. I'm not there. But I digress. I do that a lot. I digress. Let me just say again, shout out. We want to make sure that we not only study Black history in and of itself, we want to make sure that we study the architects of Black history. And so I was about to go in on orangutan, but I may save that for another day. Let me see if I can. I thought I had one other piece on Carter G. Woodson. Let's see. I discussed. Oh, that was the other institution, or say he was a founder of the Journal of Negro History in 1916. So again, another institution, another publication, another organization, well-oiled machine. Because I know a lot of times we operate under the impression that we don't have any of this stuff. We start talking about boycotts, and it sounds like everybody running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Every time it's time to come together, it's like, well, who's in charge and how we gonna do it? And so with all of that, let me see. I look at the damn. Check this out. I just found I just found the chat in this piece. So I do I'm just realizing, let me see. Shout out to the chat room. I just found it, so I'm really tripping because I'm like, I didn't see it before. It take a minute to get used to all these new layouts and platforms and whatnot. You get used to one way, and then when you switch over to something else, it's like, yeah, oh, they don't do that over here. Let me see. So let me give a shout out to Dr. Dennis Osar Winkler, who has been dropping knowledge in the chat room. He said, at least they did some work that we are able to. Let me see if I can show it. There we go. There we go. Dr. Dennis Osar Winkler, Dr. Daw. Well, at least they did some work that we are able to learn from rather than sit back and do nothing more than talk and criticize. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. That century of Negro migration was very enlightening to me. There you go. I love to see, for me, of course, I'm doing the show, so I love to see people in the chat. I love to see scholars. I love to see doing. Let me see. If you want to jump up on here, then I will share this. What do you call this? I will share this. Let me see if I can. Well, I gotta find it first. If anybody else is in the chat, then the the link is in the chat. That's what people say. Wherever you watching me from, like, share, and subscribe. If you on, well, really, if you on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. That's what I really need to say. If you on Instagram, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't even understand how Instagram works. I just know um that I can hit the live button, but I already know y'all can't see the screens that I share and stuff like that. So usually what I say is I'll just cut to my own little personal shameless plug commercial. Come on over to YouTube. Come on over to youtube.com/ at the proper perspective. So again, I wanted to just get on, spend a couple of minutes on here because I needed to give a shout out to the ancestor, CarterGWoodson. We coming up on 99 years of his program, of his instruction, of his teaching, of his significance being in continual effect, and that's a great thing. So as we get started with February, as we get started with um Black History Month, I wanted to make sure I do that, and especially I wanted to give a little pushback to orangutan for trying to make it look like he was doing something special by signing whatever it is he signed. I really don't even care to look it up because I'm kind of tired of hearing about him. But he want to pull the okey doke. He paid his clowns to parade in front of us like he was gonna do something for the Black community, for Black people. And he fooled about 20% of us. And then as soon as he get in the office, he start looking to figure out how he can take away anything that might assist even one Black person. So again, shout out to CarterGWoodson. My bad. I'm going off a little bit. And let me see what else am I do? I am pretty much finished my little small presentation. I want everybody to find something. If you are, find something to read, find something to check out. If you join with me, I can't say that I'm gonna be up here every day of the month, but every day that I come to YouTube live, I will have something about somebody that did something for us in Black History Month. I will say it that way. I'm gonna cover something about the Black cause every day in February that I go live. Um, I'm sure I'll share this as my last little share.
Pan-Africanism must come from the bottom up, from the masses of people up. It is here then that we've come to see the real aspect of Pan-Africanism.
Okay.
We said the Fifth Pan-African Congress
Working.
called for mass organizations, and immediately mass
So
organizations sprang up
I'm
throughout
gonna
the
share
Western
my
world.
screen one more time.
The Conventional People's Party, a mass party, sprang up in Ghana. The Democratic
Let's
Progressive
see.
Union, a
Let
mass party,
me hit
sprang
these
up in Kenya.
banners.
Throughout the length and breadth of
Change my
Africa,
banners
Tanzania,
real quick.
Tanzanian African National Union, which is now the CCM. My Swahili is not as good.
And share my screen
Mazuri, that's very good.
one last time.
My Swahili is bad.
Oh no, not one last time, but
Exactly.
there you go. So the screen is being shared. What am I showing? Support the channel by checking out the merch. I am doing, I'm a graphic designer in addition to, this podcast thing that I'm doing, in addition to being a teacher of sorts, an educator of sorts. So I design t-shirts, so please feel free. I have a link in the description window, bit.ly/Black Powered will take you straight to my t-shirt page, and you can take a look at them. If you see something that grabs your attention, please feel free. This is my Juneteenth t-shirt, so that's one I'm rather happy with. My White Lies t-shirt. White Lies Matter. Because I am an anti-colonizer type person. But again, that's my shameless plug for my commercials. Just trying to get my channel bumping. And before I get up out of here, I'm gonna put this on the screen. Thanks for the presentation. It's essential that we keep this information going and in our minds. I appreciate how you framed it from your proper perspective. Thank you, cuz. Thank you for that. Yes, it is essential that we keep it going. We shouldn't forget anything about our history. We shouldn't forget the people who make history, but we should also need to not forget the people who set up the systems and programs so that we can make history. And that's why I wanted to give a shout out to CarterGWoodson. Please don't let nobody walk around here and let orangutan have you thinking he has the authority to officiate Black History Month. Not his job, not his power, not his purview. That's what we do. We do it on our own. So I say all of that to say I'm getting ready to get out of here. I thank you for tuning in. As I normally do, I'm gonna get out of here by playing my theme song. And I'm gonna show the theme song. Let's try to show it completely.
Break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection. And whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection. And whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. Break it down with the proper perspective.
And that's my show. Peace, everybody.